Okay.
Hello! Sorry that we were a little bit late. I just looked at the clock and I was like, oh shit, it's 1:05. I should probably start. So, hello.
Hello, peoples.
We have Alexis. Hello, Alexis. Thank you for being here. And Devin is here. Hello. It's not a stream without Devin. And CB is here. Hello. Ever have a perfect day that you just want to live in forever?
I've had decent
Yes.
ones.
I'm trying to think because like I've had really good days and I'm like, oh man, I wish that like this day didn't end or whatever. But I don't think I've ever had like a perfect day. Like even like not even my wedding day was a perfect day.
You don't want to stay in your wedding day forever?
Well, it was like it was nice and I enjoyed the day, but there were other outside things that happened that was like made it not a perfect day. Unrelated to the wedding itself, I should say. I should specify. Let's see. I would say maybe the day that Noelle was born, but like that was really painful, so I definitely don't want to live in that forever. I don't know. I don't think I've ever had really a perfect day. I'll let you know if I ever do. Oh, Nina Natasha is here. I don't think I've ever seen you on my stream before,
That's
so
books with
welcome.
kittens.
Oh, books with kittens. Okay, all right, cool. Then you have been here before. Hello.
I
I just didn't.
recognize her face, not her name.
I don't recognize the name, and I've never. I don't really pay attention to people's pictures. I usually look at their names. But hello, thank you for being here. The day I met Bret Hart was pretty darned close. And Devin says, I've met Bret too. He's great. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know who that is. Don't come for me.
Don't at me, bro.
Go look it up right now. Oh, American Canadian professional wrestler. Okay, alright. I think I've seen this person before. I'm not big into pro wrestling, so that is why I didn't know who that was. But now that I'm seeing the picture, I know I've seen them before, so. It's really nice. I have a photo of us on the shelf in the living room, and it has. It had Pride of Place of Pride. Is that what you mean?
Pride of place is a term.
Oh, okay, okay. Never heard that term.
So you have a picture of all of you like sitting on your living room shelf. That's must be a really strong shelf. How'd you get everyone posed on it?
Jeez. Today was pretty darn close to perfect, minus getting soaked in the rain. My daughter's 5th birthday party today was perfect. I could live there. Aw, that's really cool. I'm glad you had a really awesome day. A really close to perfect day. That sounds really cool. He was on The Simpsons in season 8. We talked for several minutes. Wrestling didn't come up in the conversation. Huh. Well, I have met a couple of pro wrestlers. So there's a circuit that goes around that's Portland wrestling. It's like WWE, but like a mini version in Portland, and it's just Portland wrestling. And they came to the Veterans Center in my town when I was like 13, so like 11 years ago. And I talked with a couple of them, and they were all really nice. So I imagine wrestlers in general are pretty nice. Charlie has expressed interest in joining us, so I am
Good.
sending the link. Clickety click, paste, send. The link has been sent via Facebook. Only famous person I've met is my favorite author, Kim Harrison. She's American. I have never really met, like, celebrities.
See, I met someone who is famous, who was famous, I guess, but people would not know him anymore.
Mm.
There was a show in the 80s called Amen,
Okay.
and the old guy from the show.
Okay. Celebrity my mom met is so my mom used to be a concierge at like a fancy hotel in the on the Oregon coast, and sorry, I saw this comment and distracted me. My last name is Lamoureux. The Eaux in French is pronounced to O, so it's Lamoureux. Okay, sorry. If anybody has ever heard of or seen the TV show Young Riders, it is about the Pony Express. It's kind of like a Little House on the Prairie type vibes, but it was about the Pony Express and not about like living on the prairie. And one of the main characters from that show, he came to stay at the hotel my mom worked at, and she babysat his daughter for him, like in the lobby while he went and played golf. And she was like really excited because that was like her celebrity crush when she was a kid. And said that he was really, really nice, and he gave her a really generous tip for watching his daughter for him while he went and played golf. And where's my food? I'm so hungry. Oh, Sako has to... Oh, okay, I didn't see that. I'm sorry. You know what? I'm going to just put the link right here, and you can just click on that, and you're welcome to join. Okay. What is everybody working on today? I just finished this morning my editing project for that. Hello.
Hey.
Hey.
I may work on my own book today. Hello, Heather.
Hi, Heather.
Yeah, I'm still on my vacation.
I can't go on my vacation yet because I have got the other book that I'm working on now too. So
Now, can we get credit once you have your name on it too? On the second edition?
yeah, because I am working on it. So because it would be when she re-uploads it, it would be that would be the version that I worked on, and that's the version that is up for sale now. So yeah, I'm pretty sure we can. Hello, Kitty.
I know, I'm so sorry. She is a chatty Cathy. My mom has been ignoring her, so she is trying her meows elsewhere in the house.
I will peddle my meows somewhere else.
This is the song of my people. Let me share it with you.
Oh, we have a special shirt today. I stole it from Jordan.
Oh,
today.
it's a Bob Ross shirt.
He's painting the universe.
He's painting the universe.
Proof that Bob Ross is our Lord and Savior. Evidence here, because he is painting the universe.
Because he is painting the universe. Just like all those black velvet paintings of Jesus, right? Like, the painting came to fruition, and therefore it is truth.
Yes, exactly. It's on this t-shirt, so therefore it is proof enough for me.
So it has been said.
I say this as I'm sitting over here being like an actual devout Christian over here, and I'm just like, Bob Ross is our Lord and Savior. Please, God, don't smite me.
In the beginning, there was the brow.
And it was furrowed.
It was furrowed.
Oh my goodness, that comes from an inside joke. So we were both beta readers on a book together, and there is a crutch phrase was
A
they
lot
throw
of furrowed the brow, right?
yeah
Oh, like
A lot of
every other.
furrowing, a lot of furrowing
It
of
was
yeah
like
brows.
every other page.
every other like sometimes multiple times a page, and so it was like the book itself had to do with Christianity and stuff. So like Jace made the joke in the beginning there was the brow and it was furrowed. And I'm like, oh, that's like the greatest joke I've seen in a long time.
Much.
I missed that that group beta experience because that
Yeah,
was fun.
it was really fun. Hey, when I finish editing my book, you could be part of the group of betas that I hopefully can collect.
Cool, cool.
I mean, I was already going to ask you anyways because you're pretty much my critique partner, but still. Okay. My goal is to try to be done with it by the end of the month so I can do book 2 for Nano if we don't get a client that books with us, because if we do, then that'll be my priority and not my book. So
It's like the shrugginess of YA.
Yeah. All the shrugging. Yeah. That's not just YA. That just is a thing.
okay, I've noticed a phrase that I use a lot that I'm like, as I've been editing my book, I'm like, what the hell is giving each other smiles? He gave me a small smile. I gave him a smile. She gave this person a smile, and I'm just sitting here reading this like, what
Giving
the fuck?
all the smiles.
Was I on drugs or something when I wrote this?
Last night, I was working on the book that BC and I are writing together, and I kept wanting to say made his way, like 3 times in a 800 word like chunk, and I was like, this is ridiculous. No, I've done this already.
I also have a bad habit of in dialogue, my characters say each other's names a lot.
That's unfortunate.
And there was one scene that like it was like not a full rewrite, but like a pretty close to a full rewrite scene. And I was going through, and the dialogue itself pretty much stayed the same except for a couple of things. And I'm like, it was 1 page, like the whole scene it was 1 page. And on that page, one character said the other character's name 4 times. 4 times. And I'm like, why is he saying her name 4 times? Like
Over and over.
I kept 1 because it was he was like getting her attention to like give her like a kind of a pep talk, but he's kind of a jackass, so it wasn't really that good of a pep talk. But he said her full name, and he's like, okay, listen to me here, like right now, listen, and like said her full name, and that's the only one I kept. All the other ones got cut because I'm like, why would he say her name this many times?
Because it's an awfully pretty name.
Alex. Her name is Alex.
Oh. Maybe he just really likes the name Alex.
Ooh, my food is... she's still waiting for it.
Yeah, I've got a couple of things that need to happen this week. But other than that, I'm trying to USA.
Okay, Penumbra, hello, by the way. I didn't say hi to you yet. But we have a character that gives everyone a deadpan look.
Everyone just stares at each other.
And then that and had are my evil words.
I had to go back and like fix all of the this had been, or this might have been, like.
I haven't noticed any crutch words yet. I have phrases that I overuse that, like, I obviously already said what they were, but
Hmm.
I haven't noticed any words specifically that I overuse yet. But I mean, I'm sure there probably is one or two. But yeah, I don't know. I definitely know that I've improved if I'm noticing all the crappy stuff that I wrote in the first draft while I'm editing. So at least I'm happy about that.
Yeah. At least you can notice. You're like, I did this wrong,
And this is
and
terrible,
this
and
is
this is terrible.
terrible.
My main character in the first draft is she's supposed to be really smart because she's like a really good detective, or that's my intention anyways.
Hmm.
And for the majority of the first draft, she comes off as really stupid and clueless. So
Oh, great. That, yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
like there's literally like Jace was the one that pointed it out to me to begin with, but he was like, okay, so she's like she's almost kissed this person, and then when it comes up that he might like her, she's like, what? No, he doesn't like me. What? Like they literally almost kissed. What the fuck?
Well, it could be that she's just in denial. No,
I
no,
mean,
we didn't do, no, no, no.
various things like that is my main character because it's like everything. She's just like so clueless. Okay, all right. I think a sprint would be good, in which I've already failed because I didn't get a timer.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. I'm like, I'm just gonna draw while we're like chatting, while we're sprinting. I don't, I don't discriminate. I'll just draw it the whole time.
Should we do 15 or 20 minutes?
Either way works. I'm playing The Sims, whichever we do.
Okay. This
And
timer
I'm
that I want to use has some calming music. Does that bother anybody, or should I mute it?
That does not bother me.
it does not bother me either.
Okay, because I actually kind of like this music. It's like piano music.
Oh,
Okay, all right. Share the screen. Egypt is calling. I want to go to Egypt someday because that's my second language is Egyptian Arabic. So like, that'd be really cool to actually be able to use it in an authentic environment.
yeah. Let's just wait until it's not as toxic there,
Yeah.
because it was kind of on fire before.
Yeah.
Not literally, but like, well,
So-
if you consider artillery fire.
So my mom's boyfriend lives in Egypt,
Uh-huh.
and she wants to go visit him at some point. I'm like, please just don't go by yourself, because like, whether you're with your boyfriend or not, like, the traveling to get there and all that kind of stuff worries me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
All right, here we go. Sprinty time. 3, 2, 1, go.
Was that beeper a bit much?
What's the matter?
When the beeper went off, Sako had to pull the headphones way away from her head.
Oh, sorry. I had the. Noelle, quiet, please. Oh my gosh, be quiet, please. Hello, Charlie.
Hey, Charlie. Sako is mute.
I am sorry for that impromptu family phone call that lasted and lasted and lasted. So,
I get that.
hi.
Hello, Charlie. I don't think we've been on the same side of the screen.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I was saying that because Jace was asking if anybody else was going to join. I was like, I don't know, nobody has reached out, but I bet Charlie might want to, because they were on last time and I told them they could join anytime. And Jace was like, oh my god, you totally should. I've never been on a stream with Charlie.
I'm one of those people that I have to warn folks. Like, if you send me an invite, like, don't do it like out of pity or out of kindness, because I will show up. I have nothing better to do with my time, and I'm going to probably be watching the stream anyway, so...
Right?
We love you here on my channel, so
What
you're
channels
welcome
do we
anytime.
not love her?
Yeah.
I know. Oh my gosh, I'm blurry. Why?
I've been seeing that a lot lately. Just people like struggling with their Logitechs. Like,
Yeah, I don't know what it is about Logitech. Like, I love the camera, generally speaking, but it does that thing where it just, like, you move slightly off frame and it completely goes blurry because it tries to focus on something behind you.
yeah, it's got to be right, and whatever it's focusing on has to be right in the middle. Exactly in the middle.
Jordan told me about this program that he's going to download for me on the computer that is goes hand in hand with a Logitech camera. This specific one where you can make it so it automatically blurs the background, and so
nice.
it only can focus on you and not anything else.
So like a 50 millimeter auto situation.
Something like that, yeah.
So I am inundated with ideas and
Oh,
not
yeah?
enough fingers to work them.
Oh, I understand that. I need clones. I need clones now.
I just got an idea a couple days ago for a VTM game.
Oh, cool.
Ooh.
I know, and it's like, oh, it's so cool, but I don't have the time.
Okay.
It super helps to just like jot that stuff down and then come back to it when you do have time. Because my Richmond game was a year in the making.
Have a dedicated notebook of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I haven't played vampires since the LARPs in the 90s.
I actually had my first experience with them. This is my first time playing it with Sako, but I had my first experience with it in the 90s when I was in college, because I was in a lounge in the student union trying to do some homework, and all these people in fancy dress came in and started playing. And it was just like, I was like, where am I?
What is this that I am watching right now?
I met the hubby thanks to a Vampire the Masquerade LARP.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Aw.
So vampires bring love into your life. I'm just saying.
So, Vampire the Masquerade is doing VTM-tober this month, where you draw something Vampire the Masquerade every day for the month of October. And today is Sire and Child. So it's like super fun stuff.
This is where I go on and on and on about wishing I was an artist. Like, I can produce pictures, but it takes days and days. Like, I can't do sketches. And I wish I could, because I would love to participate in something like that.
I made the mistake yesterday where, so the whole point of like this Inktober thing, Drawloween, Drawtober, whatever you're doing, the daily practice is that you know your limits. You know how much you can get done in a 24-hour period, and still be able to function as a human being. So I had made the mistake yesterday to where I was like, this is going to take more than one day. Yep. That's unfortunate.
Okay, really quick before I forget. Penumbra was asking for some advice about what to do with this
Reader, right? Oh.
So is this person really naive that they just are too naive to understand the concept of relapse into, you know, drinking after you've been sober for a while, or is it just something that they're just genuinely not getting? Because that would...
It's got to be a matter of just like sheer unable to relate, like just does not have a frame of reference in what addiction is like.
Because as somebody who's, you know, struggled with addiction throughout my life, like, people don't understand like the weird cravings, and like it just keeps coming up. Like, it's never not a part of you.
It's never not a part of you.
And you know, I live in fear of like getting injured because I was addicted to painkillers, and I live in fear of getting injured, like, because I don't know how I would cope with that if I had to take painkillers because I needed them for something. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I know exactly what you mean.
And getting people to understand that, you know, relapse is always a possibility.
Whenever I go in, because I used to have an opiate problem, and which means I still have an opiate problem if you're actually being honest. And basically, whenever I go in to, like, say, have my teeth worked on, they want to put me under, and they have to be careful with the kind of painkillers that they give me because they don't want to re-kick up the problem.
And so, like, that's the best that I can say is just, you know, relapse happens. You know, you try your best really, really hard not to make it happen. And it's got to be really difficult for someone struggling with an alcohol addiction because that's ubiquitous. That's everywhere.
My dad is an alcoholic.
And just, you know, if somebody's not getting that, a reader's not getting that, you can either try to explain it to them, you can send them links to places where they can get videos, or just, you know, ignore them.
I would say, honestly, they're not really going to get it until they're out there and experience it. Like, not necessarily they experience addiction themselves, but, like, meet people. Because you said that they were wanting to be a social worker. They're definitely going to come across people who are addicted to something.
They're definitely going to come across people, but she's not going to be able to relate to them in any capacity.
And it's because we've cheapened that word addiction, because people are like, oh, I'm addicted to my phone. Like, oh, I'm addicted to Instagram. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've cheapened that word.
Oh.
I used to smoke. I quit smoking about 3 years ago. And even now, I still get cravings for smoking. I want to go get a pack of cigarettes. I want to go smoke. So, I know it's like smoking seems like it's a lot easier than, like, say, alcohol or, you know, more hard stuff. But it's still pretty addictive, and I still get cravings for it often, especially when I'm stressed. So, I get it.
And stress is such a huge trigger for all that. But if you're really having somebody who, if they've never known an addict, like, if they've never known an addict, then they just don't understand.
Or been addicted to something themselves. Like, that's a big part of it, too. If you've never been addicted to something, you're not going to fully understand.
Because people really don't get it. You know, they really think that it is, you know, a moral failing still.
So, I don't know. I don't know if our advice has been helpful at all, but hopefully we helped.
Yeah, I'm probably not the best person to try to give advice on that because, I try not to be rude with with readers. Like I try really, really hard, but sometimes like when they really just don't get it, because the other question that you have to ask yourself is, are they coming from an honest place?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I used to get a lot of comments on one of the queer romances that I wrote, and I didn't understand why they didn't understand what was going on until I realized they just hated queer people. Like I
Oh.
found their social media profile, and they were just trying to like low key like come at me, for having done it. And so some people aren't coming from an honest place too. So you do need to prepare yourself for that. And other people are just trolls.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, it's hard when you're dealing with real issues in fiction because everybody thinks that they understand or that they know. And
On one hand, it's great to have because you have movies like Train Spotting, right? Where on one hand, you're bringing awareness to it, but on the other hand, you're kind of appropriating and glorifying it at the same time. Like, it gets real hazy when you don't do your homework.
Okay, so I see this comment here about addiction replacement.
Mm-hmm.
For me, my addiction replacement was when I quit smoking was I started overeating because I was so used to the hand to mouth movement that I replaced the thing in my hand with food instead of with cigarettes.
Mm-hmm.
And so I gained a lot of weight. It really messed with my health a lot. Like I was healthier because of quitting smoking, but I was also less healthy because I was overeating. So now I have an unhealthy relationship with food.
Cool.
Isn't that great?
and
Totally naive.
yeah, naivete is something that you have to figure out how you want to deal with it, because you honestly, if you're doing, because this is the advice that I give anybody who's dealing with real issues in their fiction, ask yourself if you want to be an educator on that subject or not. Because because you need to know that right away. Like the moment I started adding NBs into my fiction and became very open about being non-binary, I realized I am signing up to be an educator because I'm trying to build a public platform, and people are going to go, "What in the world is that? What does that mean?
Yeah.
How do that?" So anytime you're dealing with anything like that there's either a stigma or just sheer ignorance in the populace about, you'd have to ask yourself, are you an educator? If you don't want to be an educator, get yourself a spreadsheet with quick resources that you can just send to people and be like, here's where you can find that information if you still want to write the story. Or decide maybe, the worst of all options, decide that's not the story that you want to tell.
Well, I think the problem is the story has been done, and this reader read the story and said, that doesn't happen. And I think Mama Ward is like, yeah, but it does though.
Well,
I've actually run into that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Something I was beta reading and commenting on. It was a group beta, and so we could see each other's comments, and was about, there was a scene with a gay guy and his roommate.
Uh-oh.
And they're getting like super snarky with each other, and the roommate's getting all up in his business saying, don't do this, don't. Mm-hmm. And one of the other readers is like, they're going way over the line with getting in each other's business, and that's not how people are. And I'm like, that's how gay guys are with each other. Oh hell yes.
when oh, I'm sorry, but on that topic, like when it became obvious to most of our friends that the hubby and I were serious, a friend of mine
Mhm.
hired a private investigator to look into his past. And I
Oh.
got to meet every person they have ever dated in their entire life with like statements about their relationships because they were going to prove that he was not good enough for me. Oh yeah, we get into each other's business.
Whoa. Damn.
And meanwhile, I'm over here bisexual, only ever dating men. I've never done anything like that before.
Yeah, that's really funny considering like bisexual. I speak from experience as well, where we're like, no, that's really none of my business.
Right?
They can. I don't need to read their text messages. That is
Well,
not.
I think part of it comes out of, like, at least for people my age, it comes from there was a long history of having to take care of each other because nobody else did.
Mhm.
And so that gets built into the culture, right?
Mhm.
But as with any good instinct, oh, there are toxic variations of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah.
so, you got to
Everything
watch
can
out.
go too far.
hmm
You
The
know,
Yeah,
road
Bon-
to hell is paved with good intentions and all
yeah,
of that.
Bonnie, an actual private investigator. Yes. Yes. This is why I don't write contemporary fiction. Nobody believes my real stories.
Yeah.
Because life is nuts.
Because, yeah, stranger than fiction.
I want to keep eating this chips and salsa, but I have to stop because it's spicy and it's burning my mouth.
Ow, 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 ow.
That's the same
Ow,
thing.
ow, 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 ow.
I do the same thing when I have green curry because it's like one of my favorite things ever.
Mhm.
But it like is painful,
Yeah.
and I just like it's so good. I need to keep eating it. Oh my god, I'm dying, but I need to keep eating it.
Exactly.
Okay, get
But
those
yeah,
out.
that basically how it boils down to it with beta readers and stuff, that sometimes people are talking from a place that they have no concept of in real life.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The one thing that well, not the one thing, but one of the things I'm worried about when my book gets to beta reading is my main character goes through a lot of PTSD stuff and has like panic attacks and stuff, and I worry that people are going to tell me it's not realistic, but like I'm basing it off of my personal experience with PTSD, so I'm just going to be sitting there like, yeah, okay, sure.
When Yes All Women happened, I talked about my experiences and at least on a base level. Like this is the lowest level of harassment when I was 13 years old or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then I said, okay, well, I'm going to write a paper on it, on misogyny and harassment and stuff like that in various media and various situations, talking to cosplayers, talking to women and seeing what kind of experiences they had and talking about my experiences in those cultures. And I had a couple of male friends that people who I thought were my friends who basically said, you better know your shit. And I was like, they're my experiences. It's not like I'm making this shit up. Like,
it's not a blanket term for all people. It's for me. It's what I've been through.
It's
So
what I've been through.
Like back up, person.
Back up.
That is an unfortunate thing with the current society, especially with the, you must get sensitivity readers and stuff, because a lot of times you're going to get people saying this isn't the experience, and you're like, no, this is one experience.
Right.
This story is one character's experience. If you think this covers everybody, you're not part of this world.
Yeah.
because I'm sure like my experiences of PTSD are very different from other people's experiences with that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, there's I think it's this weird place where we're living in this simultaneous death of the expert where everybody thinks that they are an expert, so they don't need to find people with actual expertise.
Mm-hmm.
And on the other side, you have this other horrible thing where some of the people that are being promoted as experts have no idea what they're talking about, which
Amen to
feeds.
that.
And then these two things feed into each other and continue the state that we're in.
Mm-hmm.
When I published something with a character having a panic attack, I got the longest comment thanking me for educating them because their boyfriend gets panic attacks, and it was like nice but also odd.
Yeah.
Sucks to be invalidated. Yeah. I am sorry that you're having trouble with that reader, though. I hope that you can either get them to understand or just get them to accept that they're not going to understand. So I got Noelle a kid's meal from Chipotle, and I got her pinto beans, and she has a fork over there, and instead of eating with her fork, she's eating all over the beans one by one.
One by one.
I mean, at least she's eating them, but look, it's cracking me up.
That sounds like something I would have done if I ate beans as a child.
Yeah. Alright, I'm thinking another sprint would be good. So, let's do that. Is everybody ready?
Ready.
3, 2, 1, go. I stopped it quickly that time.
Thank you, thank you.
Noelle finished watching Kung Fu Panda, and I started Charlotte's Web, but then she left.
She doesn't want to cry right now.
I feel that.
Well, because I just picked whatever was like next on the like. Here, let's click next up again and see what comes up. Because it doesn't tell me what the next movie on the roster is. It just plays something. So. The Secret Garden from 1993. Interesting. All right. Okay, so I see this comment relating to a whole big conversation that. Sorry, not this comment. This comment
about like abuse and stuff. Yeah.
So this relates to a whole big conversation. I'm not gonna, get into all of it because it's a lot there. But it brings to mind the quote, "The blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb."
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people try to say blood is thicker than water, meaning family, but it's actually the opposite. It's the blood of the covenant, meaning the people that you choose, is thicker than the water of the womb, which is the people that you're born into. The people you choose are the better relationships than the people that you're born into when it comes to abuse and toxic family life, etc.
And
God damn it.
I think a lot of people don't understand that your blood relatives can be a part of your chosen family, but chosen family is the most important part. Choose them. You're not just grandfathered in because of birth or blood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You don't have to accept abuse from family just because they're family and you feel pressured to stay in that environment. Noelle, what are you doing? She's been going back and forth between our two bedrooms, bringing me toys and stuff. Like, here's her panda block. She got really excited to show it to me. And now I don't see her. I think I still hear her. Oh, yeah, there she is. Hi! Yeah? What are you doing? Or just checking at me. That works too.
That works.
This is apparently the mama because we have two mini versions of this. Anytime she has an animal that it's like the same type of animal or looks somewhat similar, the bigger one is always the mama, the smaller one is always the baby.
Yeah, of course.
We have one of those like jumbo teddy bears, like a life-size one.
Mm-hmm.
And then she has a regular size teddy bear, and so the big giant one is mama and the little one is baby.
Oh, that's darling.
Yeah, and then we have two llamas. They're both rainbow colored, but like different types of rainbow colored. And the bigger one's mama, the little one's baby, and she calls them babas because she thinks they're sheep.
Little babas.
Yeah, it's really cute. So true. Found families are so much better. That's why it's such a popular trope. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Found family is definitely really relatable to a lot of people. So.
It also amazes me how often people don't know that that's an option. Because I know for doing the podcast over the years, I've done episodes on that just specifically around the holidays. I usually do an episode specifically about found family for the holidays because, people go back to painful situations sometimes that they don't need to. And I've gotten so many comments over the years about like, wait, you can choose? And that just breaks my heart every time because it is such a trope. But at the same time, it's not one that has penetrated to all the places it needs to get to.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I don't really have that much of like a found family necessarily. Like, it's really just me, Jordan, and Noelle. But I spent years not talking to, not years, but like a couple of years where I didn't really talk to my family at all. Mostly my mom, because my mom admitted that she was abusive to me on purpose because she knew I wouldn't stop her. Like, not physically abusive, but like she was very emotionally and verbally abusive. And right before I left for the army, like, she was hugging me goodbye, and she said, "I'm sorry that I treated you like that. I did it on purpose because I knew that you wouldn't fight back." And I'm like, "Oh my god, okay." And then she wondered why I didn't talk to her for 2 years. Like,
Oh, I wonder
why?
why.
And she would call me every once in a while, and "You never call me." I'm like, "No, I don't call you. You're right."
There's a reason for that. Yeah.
Well, found family is such an important idea for me because I grew up in the ball culture in Baltimore and DC. And if it wasn't for my house mama, I don't know how I would have made it to where I am today. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it wasn't for Barry, I would not be here. Like, they saw things were wrong with me when people in my blood family didn't, when my friends didn't. You know, like, they were there for me, they pulled me out. And that's something that's really been instilled in me over the years. Like, try to find people that need help and help them if you can, you know, and just spread the word. You know, ball culture should be everyone's culture. You know, take care of each other because nobody else is looking out for us sometimes.
Sometimes you gotta look out for yourself. Exactly.
Megan McCarthy joined us, so hello.
Hello, Megan.
No.
Just having a important kind of conversation, so hopefully it helps some people in the future. Or now. Right now. Hopefully it helps people right now, too, but...
Copy.
Do you copy?
Okay,
Excuse
I am
me.
going to just turn off the TV because Noelle doesn't seem to be interested in being in here with me, so... No point in having it on. Okay, I see a bit of conversation here about NaNoWriMo and Nano names. If anybody wants to share their names for NaNoWriMo to like let people become their buddies on there, now would be a good time.
Woo! I'm Psycho Sako.
I don't currently remember what mine is. I'm going to Nano right now so I can see.
I am C.E. Dorset everywhere. And can we just whisper of a dream that one day they will make the Nano site work again? Like, well, and like moderately functional?
Moderately functional.
I am MM Lamoureux.
Lamoureux.
Lamoureux. Because my initials are MML, so... Lamoureux. It's okay. Noelle's initials are NML, so one of her little nicknames is Animal.
Oh, NML, yeah.
It's cute.
I
It was
agree
accidental, but cute.
Yeah, my dad's initials are COD, and his dad always told him it's because that's how he came into the world.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't remember the old Nano site because I jumped in after.
See, I vaguely remember it, but I didn't really use it a lot back then. The last year was the first time like I seriously was actually like doing Nano. So.
Yeah, same.
The only other year that I was like, yeah, I'm doing Nano was 2016, but I didn't really update it daily or anything like that. So.
Like, I knew that there were problems when they did the update because I remember hosting an audio live stream on TalkShoe when the NaNoWriMo site officially launched for the very first time. And so I've done every Nano since like 2006, 2005, whenever the site first launched. And when they did the new update, I went there and it's like, welcome to your first NaNoWriMo. But I'm just like, You lost all my
Yeah.
all my stats are gone.
All my stats are gone.
I was like, oh, this is not a fortuitous beginning for our continuing relationship.
Yeah.
Let me actually go see, because I only had one previous Nano on there before they updated it, and I think one Camp Nano on there before they updated it. So, oh, you know what? I remember I had a Camp Nano 2018 July, I think. It was the last Nano that I did before they updated, and it completely took all, like, the project was still there, but my word count was gone, even though I had won that year. So I was like, what is this? Because now it says I've never won Nano before, even though I have.
Yeah, I attempted Nano years and years ago, maybe even a decade, I'm not sure. And I got about halfway through, and that's the first time my fingers got this. I don't even know what it is, but it's like, imagine if someone took a hammer and used it at the tip of your finger and just jammed it inward.
Yeah.
And that's how my index fingers feel. And I was like, okay, I must have done something. And then this past Nano, about halfway through, that feeling kicked right back in. And I ended up dictating to finish off Nano.
I was about to say, voice to text is a hell of a thing.
I remember before, like, we were friends, and you were just like a name in the chat, and you'd always be like, "Oh yeah, I got like 900 words that sprint," and I'm just like sitting there like, I can barely get like 200. I don't understand.
You can talk a hell of a lot faster than you can type.
Oh yeah, you can.
And then working on this past editing project, my fingers started right back up again. So I want to be able to type because it's so much more fluid for me.
I know the feeling.
But it just hurts.
That's exactly why, because that double jointedness is also in my ring fingers and my pinkies, which means playing guitar is quite painful. I will never be as good as I want to be because I am physically limited by my hands.
Mm-hmm.
And thankfully, I don't need my pinkies to type or draw or anything like that. In fact, I've thought about having them literally removed, like just having, because my pinkies are like they're completely useless. Like that's as good as it gets. It's so dumb.
So can you not close your hand into?
I can, but like it's like I can feel the knuckles grinding.
You feel like the Tin Man.
A little bit.
Why help me? I feel like that. That's my index finger. It gets caught and pops and moves all kinds of weird ways.
Yeah.
Well, I have this finger that's all like messed up because of writing by hand for years. Like this whole side of my finger is like flat, and then there's a huge like, I guess like it would be the equivalent to a bunion on your foot, but it's on my finger. Right here.
It's like a rider's bump.
Yeah.
Finger bunion. That'd be a funyun. Wait, no.
Finger bunion. Yeah, so I have a huge bump right here, and then my whole like side of my finger is like completely flat, to the point where I can't get like my nails done properly because it doesn't fit on my fingernail because it's like round and then it goes completely flat on the other side. It's like angled weird, and so I can't get like acrylic nails unless they make a special mold for this one finger.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I hate my hands anyways because they're really manly. but
All
Yeah.
my fingers are crooked.
I wish I had more feminine hands. But
Same.
I take after my dad, so a lot of my features are definitely more masculine than I would like.
I was actually thinking about my hands when Sako was talking because I've tried to learn how to play guitar throughout my entire life, but my fingers are so big, I it's almost impossible not to hit two strings at the same time.
Oh, you might benefit from a Spanish acoustic.
Maybe.
I've
But-
always wanted to learn how to play piano, but my fingers are too short.
I have little midget digits, and I learned on a Spanish acoustic. So when I got to like a Fender, I was like, "Oh my god, everything is so tight. I don't know how people do this."
My goal in life right now is just to get a hurdy-gurdy because I want a hurdy-gurdy so bad.
I want to learn how to play my violin. I own one. I just don't know how to play it.
Well, you just got to sit down and do it, really.
I'm bad at motivating myself to get anything done, so that's why I have to do live streams, because if I don't do them, I won't do anything pretty much.
Yeah,
See-
I feel you.
That's what my depression kitty is for. Because if I let myself sit for too long, she just curls up right next to me and just like, hey. And I'm just like, no, busy. I got stuff to do. Stuff to do.
I got stuff to do.
Sorry, depression kitty, not today. No.
No, 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 no.
That's why I learned how to sing instead of playing instruments, because that's something I can actually
Work on, yeah.
because I can sing while I do other stuff. So, all right, another sprint is what we're gonna do now. Okay, cool,
Okay.
cool. All right, okay, all right, okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
Beep beep.
Yay! How was that, everybody?
I got stuff done.
I lifed a little bit. Yep.
How do
You
that?
lifed.
It's when you get up off of the computer.
Oh, I don't like it now. You made it sound appealing, and then you ruined it. I mean, oh, so sad.
I went downstairs and collected Noelle from down there. She went down and stole a mandarin orange, peeled it, and ate half of it, which I let her keep the rest of it. Brought her upstairs, put her in her room with the rest of her orange to eat, and then I started reading through the chapter that I was working on last to try to pick up where I was leaving off.
Can I just say it's a
But
sign of a good kid that steals
I
the
didn't
fruit
finish
rather
it.
than hunting down any candy or cookies that they might have been able to get? Like, that's impressive.
I know she really likes the mandarin oranges, so she pulled the dining room chair out and scooched it over to the counter, climbed up on it, and grabbed the bowl because I have like this bowl bucket thing that has all the fruit in it, and she stole a mandarin orange and peeled it and was eating it when I went down there. And I'm like, I mean, I'm not mad, but like, you need to be up here where I know that you're not gonna be making messes. So, oh, Cat Leo writing, "Heyo from school."
Hey, Kat.
Heyo.
Heyo home from school. I should actually read the whole thing. That's what happens when I don't wear my glasses.
Oh yeah. And speaking of Cat, our group Sims 3 play is tomorrow. In case anyone is interested.
I know I've harassed Kat with this to no end, but you all are kind of living legends in the house because I enjoyed watching that stream so much. I made the hubby watch it, and anytime we get bored, he just starts going woohoo noises. Like, you all are just constantly quoted in our house now. Like,
I'm so happy to hear that. I'm glad that we bring joy to you.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Oh goodness.
so I may have accidentally turned the hubby into a stan, so enjoy that.
Oh, that's really sweet. That like,
And the
That's
underwater
great.
bed.
Yes,
the
yes.
underwater bed. Hey, at least Blob wore clothes to his wedding. Oh goodness.
Oh.
All right. Well, I don't know where to go from here.
Oh, I'm trying to see. I've got so many things I want to work on, and I can't type, so I can't work on most of them.
Can you handwrite?
Yeah, sort of. It's a little iffy at the moment, but I've got, I've got my ASMR series that I want to do. I want to start my own solo sim game. I want to start a series that is editing tips, like self-editing tips.
That would be nice. Do you realize how much I have to edit over here?
I want to do some videos regarding some punctuation and stuff that people often mispunctuate.
The ellipses thing is
the ellipses is the big one for me because I don't feel like the majority of people know how to properly punctuate an ellipses.
The majority of the people clearly don't know how. Not a single person online uses them, formats them correctly.
I overuse them because when I used my Emily Dickinson dashes, nobody knew what I was saying.
Okay, well, using ellipses is fine, but when you use ellipses, you need to punctuate them correctly, or they're
Oh,
going
yeah.
to drive me insane.
But they didn't drive you insane until I told you what they were supposed to be.
I know. Now
And
that
now
I
you
know,
It's like the devil of kerning. Like you don't notice it until you know to look for it, and then it's all you can see. Kerning and ligatures. Like, beware learning too much about language, people.
actually, Kat, you just used one of the correct ones. You used the Associated Press formatting.
yeah. So for that, um,
That's a journalism
for that
ellipses.
style, that is correct. For Chicago Manual style, which is the, I'm not gonna say like hard and like absolute standard for every book that to be published, but it's generally the more accepted standard for fiction and books in general for publishing. Is Chicago Manual style. It's space dot space dot space.
Dot
Space
space.
dot space. Okay, I was like, wait, how many dots did I say? Yeah, space dot space dot space dot space.
Basically, each dot in the ellipses has a space around it.
And then there's specific rules for like where in a sentence it is based on punctuation that goes with it. Like if it's at the end of a sentence, where the additional period would go, because you can't end end a sentence with an ellipses without punctuating it with the additional punctuation. I.e., like periods, commas, question marks, exclamation points, that kind of a thing. And it's confusing unless you have somebody that knows what they're talking about explain it to you like you're a fourth grader. So
I just want to figure out how to get Scrivener to stop turning it into that single character.
Yes, that tiny little.
Yeah. Because no matter how I type it in there, it just autocorrects it to the to that one that single character ellipses, and it drives me nuts.
Oh, see, Penumbra, the thing is not using it wrong. It's leaving it. If you know how it's supposed to be, just fix it in the draft before you send it to your editor.
mm-hmm.
Otherwise,
Please.
you're just telling your editor to do your work for you.
Also, I want to make the videos about punctuation and stuff too, because people who can't necessarily afford to hire an editor, I want to equip people with the tools that they would need to be able to edit for themselves. Because, you know, I understand that, like, while I want people to come hire me, I know that people can't necessarily afford to hire me. Like, even if I try to work with them on price and everything, like, people are broke and they still want to be able to be published, and they need to know how to do this stuff. So I want to do some videos. Basically, I want to do the ones that I look for that aren't already done. So, like, because there's other people on there that have done videos about different editing and punctuation and stuff that I'm not going to do those videos because they've already been done. So, like, why would I bother? But I haven't seen anybody do proper punctuation of ellipses.
No.
Every single video I found on ellipses was, you can use an ellipses for this and you can use an ellipses for this, but not about how to properly punctuate or format them. So, yeah, that's what I want to do a video for.
And I know I'll be happy because I really like watching syntax stuff. Like, people have no idea how nerdy I am with language. Like, I'm like, describe the morphology to me one more time. Yeah, I like that. Like, I'm bad. Like, I do conlangs, so.
Oh my gosh, they used a semicolon.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, they used the semicolon in the proper manner.
In the proper manner.
Yes, when I see a semicolon with a complete sentence on each side, I come.
Oh my god.
It's just like, you did it right.
Good job.
Don't put a clause on one side. If you put a clause on one side, you fail. You fail at everything. Your imposter syndrome is correct.
Okay.
I really want to make you a badge that says I validate your imposter syndrome that you can just send to people to feel better about yourself.
Oh my god. Okay, so for anybody who's wondering, if you're using a semicolon, semicolons are used to connect two independent clauses, meaning two complete sentences. You use a semicolon to make them one sentence. It is not interchangeable with a comma. So please don't use a semicolon the same way that you would use a comma, because it will drive me insane.
They are not the same thing.
They are not the same thing.
They are super not the same thing.
Independent clause here, independent clause here. Smush them together with a semicolon. That's how you use it. Please use it correctly. One tip that I use for myself when I'm using semicolons is, this is not like something you have to do. It's not a rule, but for me, I like to use semicolons when I'm connecting two sentences that closely relate to each other. Usually, the second sentence is emphasis on the first sentence. You don't have to do that to use semicolons, but that's the way I prefer to use them, because I also don't like the overuse of semicolons, and I feel like using it just for that specific purpose kind of helps me limit how many I'm using.
Amen.
See, my life.
Testify.
One of my life goals is to be able to write a grammatically correct sentence that takes up an entire page, like Mary Shelley did, and like some of the others.
Charles
like
Dickens.
heroes. Yeah, like
Charles
that's my
Dickens'
life
A
goal.
Tale of Two Cities. Longest complete sentence I've ever seen.
Like I've never found an excuse to actually craft one, but like that's the day that I know that I will have reached author nirvana. Like I finally found my complete page sentence.
Okay. This is a correctly punctuated semicolon, but
It's not needed.
It's not needed. It's not necessary.
Take out the also.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay. I would take off the also. Or you could just say, Tony Stark is a piping hot mess, semicolon. He is Iron Man.
He is Iron Man.
That would be a good use of a semicolon.
Mm-hmm. The way that you had said it, it would be better as two different sentences that relate to each other, but...
Here, you know what? I'm going to search my document really quick. Let me go to my drive, and I will open up...
I really didn't realize what I was getting into when I agreed to be on this stream, but I'm living for it.
I'm sorry.
Like I am so living for it. No, you don't understand. Like
I don't have...
Did you miss
copy.
the part about I make conlangs? Like, you can't get much more nerdy about language and language rules than that, okay?
Every once in a while I question my grammar, and then someone reads my work and they're like, no, this is good.
I'm going to do find and replace, and I'm going to search semicolon. Okay, let me see here. Let me see if I use the semicolon correctly. Yes, but that's not a sentence I want to share with you.
Naughty or spoiler?
Well, okay, so
Yes.
the context of the semicolon is that her boyfriend was pulling off her shoes and started to give her a foot massage, and it says, "I started to protest. I was sure my feet smelled horrible." Is the sentence with the semicolon in between. But it's just kind of a boring sentence.
Well,
I really don't use semicolons that often.
no. They're mostly unnecessary.
Okay, here's one. She's moving furniture around in her house, but she's got broken ribs on one side. And it says, moving the furniture proved difficult, semicolon. With every push or pull, pain surged through me from my broken ribs. I feel, in my mind, reading that sentence, it is a very good example of how to use a semicolon.
However, comma, I totally get it if you use like a normal period or a normal comma.
Mm-hmm.
Semicolons really aren't necessary punctuation. They're really a style choice. Because semicolons can be completely replaced with periods. So. But if you use them, punctuate them correctly, please.
And learn the dash. Love the dash. The dash is life.
The M dash.
Mhm.
It is love. It is life. The M dash.
As a graphic designer, fucking misuse of dashes.
I want chips now.
I'm getting rid of the timer because I don't see us doing another sprint at all. So, goodbye, timer. Okay, so I've seen some books where it's legit been overused. Like, not, I don't know. A lot of people use M dashes when they're cut, like in dialogue when somebody's getting cut off, which is perfectly fine. But when you have everybody constantly cutting everybody off, it gets really annoying to just see constant, like, just dialogue of just M dash, M dash, M dash, because you're like, oh my god, these people are horrible to each other. Like, they won't let anybody speak.
Yes.
That actually a scene that's like that would probably make me put the book down.
It's
Just because I would be so agitated at these people.
I have totally put down books because grammar has bothered me to the point where I want to rewrite the book.
Ooh.
And it's not my book.
yeah. So
But I have to protest every program out there, every word processor out there that seems to think the M dash doesn't deserve its own freaking key.
I know. I have to every time I use a word processor of any sort, I have to program in M dash. Where I program it so when I do hyphen, and it automatically replaces it with an M dash. But why can't you just have it? Like, there's not even an M dash key on a keyboard.
No.
Like, what the frickety frack, man?
I use the Alt 0151, which is the code to put it in. But seriously, that's a lot of keystrokes to put in one character.
Yeah, it drives me crazy.
Like no one else. Charlie got it.
I don't get it.
She drives me crazy.
I ate all my chips and now I'm sad that I don't have anything else to eat.
That is just my life.
Also, Jordan called me during that last sprint and said, hey, I got somebody to cover for me on Friday so I can finally have a day off. And I was like, cool. And he's like, okay, I'm coming home for lunch around 4. So now I know when I need to destroy the evidence of me using my credit card to buy food. Because I didn't buy him anything. Because I was ordering my food, because before we started, I was like, oh man, I really want to order something for lunch, but like, I only have my, thanks train, I only have my credit card, and I don't really want to use that unless I need to, and so then I'm ordering food, and I'm like, okay, you know what, I give up, my willpower to not use my credit card has failed me, and then I was like, okay, now I can't order Jordan anything so that he doesn't know that I used my credit card. So now I know when I need to go throw away my Chipotle bag, so he doesn't see that I ordered food.
All I know is I have to be very careful not to cook anything for dinner tonight because the hubby was like, if you don't have dinner ready when I get home, I'm making quesadillas. And I'm just like, well, you just guaranteed I'm not cooking.
I'm making chicken pot pie for dinner today. I love it. I have a recipe that I've been perfecting for several months now, and I like it a lot. If my
Do you
kitchen
do a
was
double
clean,
crust or just a top crust?
double crust. Crust on the
That's-
bottom, crust on the top.
That's the most difficult because not having that completely soggy mess at the bottom.
So I don't usually have soggy until it's leftovers, and then the reheating makes it soggy. So I usually get the pre-made dough because I don't have the patience to make the dough from scratch, but I make everything else from scratch. So I get pre-made dough. I have a 10-inch pan pie crust thing, so I have to roll out my dough because pre-made comes only in 9-inch size. So I always have to roll it out so that it'll fit into my 10-inch pan, and then but you have to generously butter or grease, whatever grease you're using, the pan before you put the crust in. Otherwise, it will get soggy and it will stick. And yeah, so generously grease your baking dish before you put your pastries in it, please. That's how we prevent sticking and burning. And also, if you make sure that you vent the top crust well enough, it should let enough of the steam out that it doesn't make the under crust soggy.
See, you don't understand. I live in Missouri, which is like close enough to the south that we think we're southern, but nobody can cook around here. Like, it's one of the reasons our restaurant is like really does well because we actually can. Like, they think cooking is just throw it in the deep fryer and it's fine. And so, the amount of really bad pot pie I've had over the years.
Oh yeah, you want my recipe for chicken pot pie? I can send it to you if you want. I know that you're lactose intolerant, so you're going to have to substitute the milk and the butter. But other than that, I don't think you have to substitute anything unless you're vegetarian. Because, it's chicken pot pie, so it has chicken in it, so. But theoretically, you could probably make the chicken pot pie with, like, tofu and vegetable stock instead of chicken and chicken stock. So, don't quote me on that. I don't know 100% if you could do that.
I'm amazed that there are any vegetarians left, just because every vegan I know, thanks to 2020, is now a meat eater. Like, everyone in my life, like, that was, like, religiously into it is now just like, it doesn't matter anymore. Nothing matters.
Nothing matters.
Nothing matters.
Nothing matters.
So anybody who uses TikTok at all, there's a TikTok user on there known as That Vegan Teacher that everybody on TikTok, for pretty much everybody on TikTok, even the vegans themselves, make fun of her relentlessly because she likes to shame people into being vegan. And when that doesn't work, she, she does all sorts of things to try to make people vegan. Like, she has this song that she wrote on there saying, if you want to go to heaven, you gotta be vegan. Like,
what the fuck?
Like, you're not gonna go to heaven if you're not vegan. And it's like, does anybody want to tell her that Jesus was not vegan? That Jesus ate fish and stuff? Like, and who's gonna tell her that Jesus was not vegan?
Look, I grew up on a farm in the 1890s. So, like, if we didn't... oh, no.
Not literally, just like...
Just very, very close to it. Like, I learned how to cook on a Franklin pot-bellied wood stove, okay? I remember getting central air and central heating for the first time. And, like, I remember having being able to dry our stuff in a machine and not on a line. Like, I grew up in the 1800s. If we didn't grow it, hunt it, or anything else, we didn't eat.
A lot of people say that this lady needs to get her dog taken away because she forces her dog to be vegan as well.
Ooh.
That is not good for a dog.
That's not good for a dog.
And everybody's like, somebody needs to find out where she is and call, animal control or something to get her dog because she's going to kill it because dogs are carnivores. They are not meant to be vegan. And, it's all sorts of stuff with this lady.
Like, I get it, and I'm not against anybody who, chooses that for themselves, but for some people, it's not an option. Like, that's where I get really upset, because we grew up really, really poor out in the middle of nowhere in the country, and...
The main thing for me that really gets me, that if she says, if you fight for any form of human rights, whether it be sexism, racism, LGBT, whatever, you have to fight for animal rights too, because they're the first form of racism.
What?
Those are actual words that have come out of her mouth.
What?
See that's going too far.
Yeah, that if you don't support animal rights and think that eating animals or animal products is wrong, then you are not truly fighting against racism or sexism or LGBTQ or any of that stuff, because it's the first form of it. And I'm just sitting there like, how can you possibly compare eating dairy to racism? Like, excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah, that's.
Excuse me, ma'am. Ma'am. Make it make sense, because right now it does not make sense.
That's not understanding one's own privilege. I'm just
And
saying.
it's like an older white lady.
Yeah.
Of course it is.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think
we all-
everyone already visioned that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Karens. God damn it.
It's
See, and-
extreme.
You know, all the vegetarians have gone carnivore, and 2020 has actually made me carnivore. I've actually gone full Wendigo at this point.
Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, so for another
I
big
feel
argument that people have against her, that they use against her often, but just against veganism in general, is that people with eating disorders cannot go vegetarian or vegan because they cannot be policing what they're eating. Because if you have an eating disorder like anorexia or bulimia or whatever, you should not be policing different foods. You should just be eating. And that's a lot of them. Like, somebody will comment on her and say, like, I can't go vegan because I have an eating disorder, and if I start policing different food groups that I'm eating, then it reignites my eating disorder. And then she'll actually respond to them and say, like, saying that they're horrible people because they're not being vegans. Like, dude, I can't, or I will probably die.
Yeah, no kidding.
And then there's people like me. Like I have a hard time getting enough protein from non-animal sources. Like I've tried. Like I've tried just because I'm not a big fan of meat, like the flavor of meat. So I've tried to go vegetarian several times, and I get sick, and I go to the doctor, and they give me pills, and they're like,
to
yeah,
eat meat.
yeah, eat meat. Like the only thing we can do is eat
I
meat.
struggle with if I'm not getting enough iron from meat, I get really anemic. And
I have a
so-
friend who basically has to wake up for emergency bacon, and otherwise she's vegetarian. Like, it's just mandatory that she eats bacon because she needs the iron just to exist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I don't know. Veganism is great if you can
do
sustain. If you can do it, you can sustain the lifestyle, and good for you. But it's people like that vegan teacher from TikTok that make the community look bad. Is people who try to shame others into becoming vegan and compare it to human rights issues and other various things.
See, I just don't understand trying to shame other people because you're trying to make them better. Like, I don't see how that has ever worked in the history of the world. Like, people that are bad are immune to shame. Mm-hmm. Like, the truly bad people are immune to shame. Like, we need to know who they are so that we can, like, have them clearly, identified so we know what to do about them. But, it's like, just trying solely to use shame to fix the morals and ethics of people. Like, no, why not just try to be better? Like, if you're concerned about animals, make sure that they're having a good life. And sorry, I get really...
Yep, no, don't worry. I grew up on a farm as well, where we would raise our own meat every year, so that we wouldn't have to buy meat from the store. So we would go buy like 25 chickens as chicks, raise them up, and then, that would be in the freezer for a year, and cows, etc. So, like, I'm definitely not vegan or vegetarian type of person, because I definitely want someday in the future, my dream, like, life, I guess, would be for me and Jordan to be able to have enough land that we can produce our own meat like I did when I was growing up. Because it's better, tastes better, it's better for you, and it's better for the environment. So
It is.
that's that's my 2 cents.
And it's something that everybody should, in a way, be in favor of, because it sounds so weird to say this, but like a well-treated animal does taste better. Like you can
It
tell,
does.
you can taste the stress in the meat.
That is exactly the whole thing about Wagyu beef.
That's why it's so expensive.
That's why it's so expensive, because those cows get massaged every day,
Mhm.
and they eat nothing but like prime, the best grass ever, right?
Yep.
Right.
So, and it
And it shows.
It shows. It shows. Yeah, so I'm all for independent farmers and people who, like, not necessarily people who farm to make money, but people who farm to sustain themselves.
And if I can get on my high horse for just a minute, because we own a restaurant, that's how we make our income. And at least in our state, and people should check their own, it is so hard for us to get the permits to do like farm to table, because we're surrounded by farms. So we wanted to contract with the local farmers, right?
Sure.
But all of the certificates required, because Tyson Food is really big in our state, all of the license required to be able to buy direct from the farm and have it go through an abattoir to us is prohibitively expensive.
Yeah.
And really hard to do. So, like, if people really care about these issues, the side issues that are the ones that people aren't talking about is stuff like that, where the large factory farms are making it harder to support the locally grown stuff and the local farmers and everything like that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yep.
Plus, I feel like taking care of animals helps children to learn responsibility.
Yep.
And care for others' well-being other than themselves.
And good footwork, because a pig will try to eat you if it can.
Yeah, no kidding.
So, I don't know. I think that there's a lot of value in growing up on a farm. I don't know. I hated it at the time, but now that
did
I'm an
too.
adult, I'm like, oh man, I wish I could go back.
I did too. I absolutely hated it when I was growing up. And I don't know that it's something that, I'm, because of my own physical limitations, I could ever do again. But yeah, like I learned so much growing up that way. And you learn like vigilance. Like I remember sitting on top of the camper to keep the rabbits out of the field, because that was our food. Like we didn't farm like for other people. Like that was our food, and we had to keep the rabbits out. And I remember sitting up there with a pellet gun to keep the rabbits out, because that sense of responsibility that we have to take care of our resources, and just the preciousness of that, and learning how to plant and everything. Like it's such valuable lessons.
Yeah, it really is. I feel like not enough people get to experience those lessons in life. I don't know.
Not enough people.
Well,
Because if that were the case, then like waiters and waitresses wouldn't be treated like crap.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
oh yeah, Heather's stream is starting soon. So, Devin just put the link for it.
Cool.
Anybody who wants to keep doing work, you
Go
can
do
go click
that.
on that.
Go do that.
Because we're not doing that anymore here.
No, because I work while I chat.
This is more of a TED Talk on various topics today.
Yeah, I've had a rough couple weeks, and so just talking to people is very, very good for my productivity.
Oh yeah, it's really nice. It's really nice to be able to just like have conversations with adults, because I'm just with a 2.5-year-old all the time. So
Yeah.
Well, we
It's
could
nice.
communicate with you by screaming.
that is what I'm used to. So I mean,
I do speak scream.
gosh, she is starting to become more communicative, but she's still in that in between phase where when she gets really frustrated by something, she'll just scream. And even though every time I tell her, like, if you need help, come over and say, "Mommy, help," and I'll help you. But still, without fail, every single time, something will not go her way, and she will just screech as loud as she possibly can. And there's no stopping it. It just happens. It just happens every time, no matter what I try to tell her. It's
I
fine.
may have drawn the ugliest man ever.
Okay.
The prompt for VTM Tober today is Nosferatu.
Oh,
So I gotta make him like super ugly, and I think I succeeded.
I loved playing Nosferatu.
Yeah, they're always like freaking stars in my games.
Every time I went to a game where they assigned characters, because they would do that at a lot of the LARPs because they knew I liked role playing, I almost always got a La Sombra or a Gangrel,
Meh.
which
I
they
don't know what you guys
regretted
are talking about.
They regretted giving me the La Sombra though, because I accidentally killed off like all the Sabat because I had a road track because I saw my I saw my reflection in the mirror, and you have to do a test if you see your reflection because they don't have reflections in second edition. And I went crazy. And because was that first or second edition where because they don't cast a shadow and they don't have a reflection, they have a very high likelihood of losing their humanity and just attacking everything near them.
Yeah.
If they see their reflection. And yeah, I took out the entire Sabat pack very early on because I went out of the hotel to have a cigarette and saw my reflection in the window. I was like, oh man, okay, need to do a test. Oh crap. Hopefully one of you could stop me.
I've never done any LARPing or anything like that. I've always been interested in like maybe going to Beakleen someday, but right now probably not because the Beakleen still allows blackface.
Oh.
Not like necessarily with the intent of people being racist with it, but they allow people to paint their faces in whatever color and stuff they want. So
Right.
Because it's like a big LARPing war type thing. But if they get that fixed, then I would love to go to Beakleen someday. If anybody does anybody not know what Beakleen is, by the way?
I have no idea.
Never heard that word.
Okay.
before.
idea.
Beakleen is in Canada, I believe in Quebec, and it's basically this big like LARPing festival based around like a war of some sort. Like you have two kingdoms
Oh, I know what you're talking
and they're like
about.
fighting each other.
Yeah.
I would love to go to Beakleen someday. That sounds like so much. It's a week long, and you're like just full on, like in character LARPing, and it's like sounds like so much fun. It really does.
I do Penzic, which is basically that in Pennsylvania.
I haven't been to
Okay,
Penzig in
okay.
so long.
So I just go for vacation. Our group is super chill. We just stay in camp and drink, like
Nice.
play games, read, sleep.
I miss being a troubadour monk.
I would also when I was younger, I always wanted to like work for a Renaissance fair
Mm-hmm.
and like be all like in costume and walk around like being a character, whatever.
Mhm.
But I've heard that the culture of like around the employees at Renaissance fairs can be really not necessarily toxic, but just like really sexualized.
Extremely so.
Yeah, so I'm not really sure that's something that I would want to get into.
Well, it depends. I don't know. I think you're on the wrong side of the country, but I have a lot of friends that work at the Maryland Renaissance Fair.
Yeah, I'm in Oregon, so.
So I was thinking, like, that doesn't help you out at all.
There is a Renaissance fair that comes to Canby, like 45 minutes north of me, but I don't really know what their whole thing is. But it does sound like fun though. Like I can imagine like just the like it makes me want to like do it just so that I can like write about it in a book because like that just like sounds fun. It just sounds fun to like be in the Ren troops that travel around
I
fair to
have
fair.
I have a friend who does that.
That just sounds like fun.
She's been doing the Pennsylvania Ren Fair these past few weekends, which is harrowing because that means Pennsylvania Ren Fair is on.
That's okay.
Yeah, but she goes from state to state, mostly across the East Coast.
Is their theme this year 1334?
I know, right?
Who is Eddie Van Halen?
The lead guitarist for Van Halen.
Van Halen, of course. As soon as I was saying that, I was like, wait, no, never mind. I know who that is. And then the words were already happening, so. Okay, that does make me sad, though.
Yeah.
I never was as big a Van Halen fan as like a lot of people, and I've never met like a super Van Halen fan. Like I know that they exist in the world. Like I appreciate some of their music, like, but I know that they exist because I hear tales of them, but I've never actually met one.
Me either.
And I've met some super fans of some rock bands that I didn't know had super fans. So
there's a local band. They're not like super famous or anything. They're called JFK, and they have some pretty big super fans. And I'm just like surprised because they're not like a famous band or anything. They're just like a local band.
Sure.
I'm just like, I went to one of their concerts because my dad's friend with one of the band members, one of the founding members, and so we went to a couple of their concerts like they do in parks and stuff. And I'm just like, I mean, they're good, but like super fans, I just don't get it. I mean, you got to start somewhere though.
Yeah.
Well, it's 3:30. My time anyways.
Yeah.
I think that we could probably do some outros and get wrapped up here.
Sure.
Who wants to go first?
I guess I will. Howdy, Howlers. It's Sako Toomey, also known as Cass Voight. I write horror, and I'm a witch, and I'm a graphic designer, and sometimes I combine those three things. Today, I was drawing stuff. But anyway, if you are looking to market yourself as an author, or you are looking to be a witch or witch, please drop by my channel, look at my videos. I hang out in the mornings. I would love to see you.
Yay. I think Charlie could go next.
Hello, my name is Charlie. I write under the name of C.E. Dorset. Please don't buy my books. Better versions are coming. No, I don't mean that I don't like them. It's just there were things I didn't know about myself when I wrote them, and I can see my own repressed transphobia in the stories, even though that they're not. That's not in there. Nobody can see it unless I point it out to them.
Oh.
But once I see it, yeah. I've already taken 3 of the books down, which feels weird. I'm super author to be this year. I've stopped selling 3 books this year. I am in the midst of rebranding everything that I do. All the new artwork is just going up, and I stream every Wednesday and Friday at 5. I believe it's 5 Eastern, 4 o'clock my time. I'm Central. So yeah, +1, 5 o'clock. And if you like streams that meander forever, come join us on Fridays. We do fan fiction, and then who knows when we ever stop, if we ever do.
If you ever stop. These 5-hour streams.
Oh, no. I think
7 hours was the last one.
7, 8 hours are, not uncommon, because...
Yeah.
That sounds like me when I first started last November. My streams would go on for, half a day.
Well, it's the end of the week for a lot of us, and it's just okay, we're done working now. You just want to talk about all the crap that happened this week? Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
And we were doing it after the streams, and we just figured we're not saying anything private. Let's just keep the keep the stream going.
Keep the stream going. Right on.
All right. And Jace, would you like to say something?
All right. I am Jace Maxwell. I'm an urban fantasy author. I'm an editor for Rose City Editing. I am a third of the Sims 4 3-play, which is on Wednesdays, so tomorrow, starting at noon Eastern on Cat Leo's channel on
her Twitch.
I play Alistair Mosley on Sako's Vampire the Masquerade game on Saturday mornings at 9 a.m., which is off this week.
Yep.
because of the was it Around the World?
Yeah,
Worldwide
the
Write-a-thon?
world. Yep, that thing.
Yeah.
I saw it on Instagram today.
I do my uh, productivity sprints on Saturday afternoons at 4 p.m. Eastern. That this week's is up in the air. I might still do it. I'm at 50-50 right now.
Yeah.
He's on vacation, guys.
Yeah.
He just finished working on the book that I also just finished working on this morning, so he's on vacation. I would be too, but I have another book that I'm working on, so for the same person. So vacation is not a thing for me yet.
And I guess, oh yeah, and on Halloween, on my channel, Meadow and I will be hosting Halloween karaoke
Woot woot.
starting at 3 p.m. Eastern.
Woot woot.
So bring your spoopy time songs. I've
Woot
already
woot.
got maybe 5 or 6 of them.
I don't know a lot of Halloween themed songs, so I've been listening to soundtracks from The Corpse Bride and Nightmare Before Christmas and various other Halloween centric movies and musicals.
I'm just an old school goth, and I'm hoping that some of those count.
They count.
I
You don't
already
have to
know.
sing spooky if you want to sing in general. You don't have to stick to spooky if you don't know any spooky songs.
There are some that are not directly supposed to be spooky or Halloweeny, but they come off that way, that will be in there. That I know I'm doing a couple and Sage is doing a couple.
Cool.
All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Meadow Lamoureux. Thank you for being on my channel today. Thank you for my 3 co-hosts today. And I hope that the conversations we've had today were valuable to people, and I hope that you got stuff done during the sprints. I stream every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern, just like today. So come back again next week. Tomorrow is the Sims 4 collaboration. It starts at 12 noon Eastern and goes until 6 p.m. Eastern, to about 2 hours on each channel. It starts with Kat, where she makes the characters that we're going to play with, and then it goes to Jace, where he builds the house, and then me with the actual gameplay, where it's a combination challenge between Black Widow and 100 Baby. So if you were there last week,
Hijinks ensued last week.
It was wonderful.
woohoo noises.
Woohoo noises. Woohoo noises.
We would love to see you again tomorrow. And then the other half of Rose City Editing, we have developmental, line editing, copy editing, and proofreading. If you want to hire us, then let me know, and we'll give you a sample edit if you want one. And I write books, but nothing is published. So yay. That's it. All right. Goodbye, everybody.